Hi, everyone. Happy No King's Day 3. I'll be going to a local protest here pretty soon. And I hope you guys find a way of getting yourself to something or, supporting somehow. If you're on my social media, which is wide open on Facebook and so on, I will be posting photos everywhere. Anyway, I have something for you special. I think it's important not only to look at what the psychics of this world currently are doing, but it's important to look at the past. And there has been some people who not necessarily I would call debunkers, not like people like me who do this all the time, but who have put together tests and have done some sort of debunking, completely catching the psychics off guard. And I've been showing them to you slowly as I come across them again. And it's nice to revisit these because you guys seem to like them, and I get to revisit them. I'm going to show you a video today that was made in 2013. I have not seen it since 2013, but I'm working on a book of my past articles for Skeptical Inquirer. And because I'm doing that, I'm looking, the articles I wrote in 2015 to 2026, and there's a lot of history in there, and I hadn't remembered a lot of this. So as I'm going through, I'm going, oh, I forgot about that. Let me show everybody this. Let me show everybody that. Okay, so this is James von Praagh we're going to be looking at, and a man named, oh my gosh, Miklos Jako, Miklos Jako. You'll see who he is. It's a man in his 50s, I think, and he puts James von Praagh to a test. In other words, he it's early days of Skype, I think, and he gets a online reading with James von Praagh. And the interesting thing about this, and I'll just go ahead and explain it as best as I remember, which might be badly wrong. We know how memory is that James von Praagh didn't do readings after this. I think he was kind of blown away, and it was embarrassing for him. And when I went to go do Operation Ice Cream Cone in, I think 2015, yeah, it was 2015, we were trying to find a way of getting to James von Praagh, but he wasn't doing readings. You could not find a way of getting a private reading with him at all. And so he had a list of people on his website that he recommended. And I said, well, that's the next best thing. If he's recommending these psychic mediums and we bust one of those, well, then there you go. So I picked Tim Braun, Braun, I think is how you spell his last name, off of his list. And that became Operation Ice Cream Cone. We didn't catch him hot reading, but man, we caught him cold reading. And not only cold reading, we caught him reading my friend Heather Henderson with fictitious everything. I mean, he gave her a child that she doesn't have. I think he gave her two children she doesn't have, a husband she doesn't have, and on and on and on. And he said she was smoking. She doesn't smoke. She never smoked, not that I know of. And on and on. Anyway, you can see that Operation Ice Cream Cone. I don't think I've uploaded that now that I think about it. Oh, I was waiting to find the audio. That's right. I can't find the audio. The article's out, but I cannot find my audio. So I went back and asked my friend Emery, who was the one who recorded everything, if he could find that audio for me. And if he can, that'd be great. If I find it, I'll bring it out to you again. But there's an article for Skeptical Inquirer called Operation Ice Cream Cone. Easy to find because that's an easy title to remember. And it has a lot of what actually happened in there. It was really interesting. So I think that's what this guy is going to do. I can't quite remember. Anyway, so I'm going to show you this article. The video wasn't available anymore on this article that I'm going to show you. But what here is Michael Shermer, who's the guy who runs or the Skeptic Society, mainly out of LA. He has a magazine called Skeptic. And he's here's the article that was on Skeptic, and the video ran on the Skeptic channel also. It got a lot of views. So what Michael Shermer is saying here, James von Praagh and other practitioners of so-called channeling, communicating with deceased people, have consistently avoided James Randi's $1 million challenge test to prove their psychic abilities. In this video, Miklos Jako, a knowledgeable layman, tests von Praagh's ability simply by having a session with him and analyzing what went on. The results, though not strictly scientific, are pretty conclusive as well as entertaining. So I guess he does kind of like what I do, and you can see the video is unavailable. Then down here it says, I don't have any problems with, this is from Michael Shermer. I don't have any problems with Miklos' video and his statement at the end. He's not making any truth claims whatsoever. He just says that he's sort of kind of a believer in some sort of higher power being or a force, and that therefore he believes he can't prove in any way in an afterlife. To this end, he's indistinguishable from Martin Garner's beliefs, and Martin is considered one of the greatest skeptics in history. We are only interested in challenging claims made that can be tested or arguments people make claiming to support some belief with evidence and reason and logic. Michael Shermer. And this is published July 26, 2013. I've got new glasses, you guys, and the lines are, it's weird how things are have to be read. Okay, so there's some other links on here. Video of interest, Suzanne Northrup, The White Crow. Ooh, I will have to check that out. And that's on Miklos's website also.
Dr. Gary Schwartz is a...
Okay, so I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't done that, but okay, so we're gonna come back to Suzanne Northrup. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at the video that, because there is I did find it. The video that was done by Miklos Jarva. I am going to say that so wrong. I am really sorry. Okay. And that he filmed with Von Praagh. And as I said, within a year or so, when, year or two afterwards, when we're looking at trying to get readings with Von Praagh, I guess he was just too rich at that point. He didn't need to do in-person readings with people, but he wants to stay relevant. I have a feeling he's back to being in person. Von Praagh also did not see the coming of COVID, and he also hasn't said anything that I know of about Nancy Guthrie. Maybe you guys know something about it. I don't. Let me see if I can find this little link for you too. I just noticed this the other day, and see my eyes. I have to get like down, like I can't quite see the screens right. It takes a while to get used to new glasses, as you guys know. I'm almost positive I saw Von Praagh in here. Maybe it was just Chip Coffee, because Von Praagh, even in 2020, wasn't doing. Yeah, he's not in here. Von Praagh wasn't doing events, I guess. So. Okay, this is 15 minutes long. I might interrupt it. Like I said, I have not seen this in years since it came out in 2013, but it was kind of like, whoa, this guy got Von Praagh.
Now, whether or not James and other mediums can do this, communicate with the dead, is ultimately not a matter of opinion. This is something that can be proven or disproven. Very simple. Can he come up with specific information that only the deceased person and I would know? If he does, he's proven himself. If he doesn't, and only comes up with good guesses and generalizations, then he's disproven himself. And if he fails, we can reasonably discount all the other mediums because James is at the top of his field. And if we disprove the best, we can dismiss the rest.
Good point.
All right, let's see how he does.
I think you're very, very sensitive, and I think you have an ability to connect with the spirit world. I really do. Do you have an older sister?
No.
Do you have a younger sister?
I had a younger sister, yeah.
You had, and she's passed on.
Yeah.
I get her right next to you on this side of you, this over here, your right side.
Aha, the time-shifting technique. James immediately pretends to see my sister a split second after he finds out from me that my sister is deceased.
Because I have a sister here, and she's very connected with you, so she definitely wants to come in and speak with you, okay? So we'll get to her in a second, but I just want to continue working with you. Who was Edward or Ed? Do you know that name? Living or dead? Edward?
Edward. Boy, I
So let me just work on that. Okay, so let me just first tune into your mother. Can I just work on her?
Okay, right.
Yeah. Got her. Okay, thank you. Got it. That's it. That's great. And I want to ask you, was she raised by another woman? Was she raised by not her mother? She was raised by somebody else? Was she raised by a grandmother or an aunt or something?
She was raised by her grandparents.
Grandparents, thank you.
Yeah.
But she's spending time with them over there, too. Just to tell you that. Go ahead. I understand.
A good hit? No. Again, the value of a transcript. I didn't realize at the time that I had accidentally said her grandparents, and I meant to say my grandparents. In other words, my mother was not raised by her grandparents. She was raised by her own parents, my grandparents. But James took what I said and ran with it. So this proves that he's reading not dead people, but me, because he ran with what I accidentally said.
And I'm going to ask you who the name, it sounds with an R, initial R in the name. An R. And I don't know who Lucille or Lucilia or Lucina or Luciana or something this name is.
Connected to my mother?
Yeah.
Can't think.
Well, you'll have it on the tape, so you can play it later. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll be okay. So that's how this works. Sometimes they give you a name you don't know at the moment, but later you listen to it. Oh my God, that's that person is.
Does that make any sense? That dead people anxious to talk to us would bring up the names of tangential people, people we have to struggle to remember, instead of people we immediately recognize? That doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is he's playing a guessing game and making wrong guesses.
Yeah, I understand that. And I want to tell you that she's showing me or giving me the information here that I'm listening to classical music. I'm listening to classical music.
Note the technique here. Once he gets confirmation from me, you can clearly see me nodding my head as though I'm confirming it, then he pushes it harder. That's what they do. They read, and then the reading of the client determines for them what direction they go in.
And this is a very big deal, and she's just given me this. Okay, I got to give this to you. So I don't know if you... Why is it telling me 2 years has passed? Something 2 years ago, right?
From my mother's death?
No, who died 2 years ago? Or why is it
Who died 2 years ago?
Who was just 2 years ago?
My brother was just a few years ago.
Notice that I deliberately said a few years instead of 2 years. A few years, hoping to give James some rope with which he could hang himself, and he immediately proceeds to do exactly that.
Okay. So 2 years ago. Okay, got it. I understand. Got it. Thank you. Got it.
Right. My brother died in 2007. 2013 minus 2007 equals 2. No, it equals 6. I am starting to get an inkling that maybe James Van Praagh is not reading the dead, and maybe, just maybe, he's playing a guessing game.
I understand that. Okay. I understand that. She's very funny. I'm trying to get a concept of what she's talking about. You know, it's not like, hi, how are you today? It's like a concept of a thought. And the concept, so I want to explain how the process works. So the concept she's giving me is like, I'm crossing into a building, and then I'm looking out and I'm seeing graves. But I have to go near a building first, and then I'm seeing graves. So when she's with you, when you visit or go there, you must have to go by some kind of a building, and then you go see her.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, your explanation makes sense to me, but why my mother would communicate that to me makes no sense. If my mother communicated that she was very glad she was able to reconcile with my brother before she died, that would make sense. But to say to me, I have to go past the building before I go into a graveyard is totally pointless. That is useless information. And you'll find mediums do that a lot. They give you a ton of useless, insignificant information proving they're just playing a guessing game. They're not reading dead people. Here comes the time-shifting technique again, getting some information from me and immediately pretending you got it from the dead person.
And was there someone that took piano lessons?
I took when I was young, very young, yeah.
Yeah, because you're talking about the piano lessons. You remember taking the piano lessons? Yeah. Now, who passed with a cancerous condition? Cancer. Was it his sister? Cancer?
Yeah, my sister.
Okay. Okay. Because I'm getting a cancerous condition. At one point, was there breast cancer with her?
Yeah.
Because that's what she's going on about.
Okay, that's a hit. Doesn't prove anything, but that's a good hit.
Was there anyone named Angela?
Boy, all these names you're coming up with, I'm drawing blanks.
All right, so you have it recorded, so listen to it later, and then maybe it'll happen. And go on. Yeah, in a second. And did you put lotion on her back, or have lotion on her?
No.
And who's Joseph? Or Joe?
Again, I don't have a Joseph in my family, or a close friend or anything.
So just
Now, New Age believers who believe in this stuff have a standard all-purpose defense. They'll say, oh, well, of course it's not going to work for you. You're a skeptic. Your energy is all wrong. You have to be open for it to work. But they can't use that defense here because Van Praagh very clearly said, my energy was quite clean, that each of my people were right there next to him, and that they were coming in very strong, very strong. So believers can't claim that my attitude was undermining the process because Van Praagh clearly expressed that the process was working for over an hour.
let me bring your dad in. Let me bring your dad in. Yeah, because he's right here. I got it. Right. Did he own a company?
No.
Here comes the time-shifting technique again.
Did he have a briefcase?
Yeah.
He just shows me himself walking with a briefcase.
Yeah.
I'm going to work, he said. Good.
Okay, now I'm going to tell James Van Praagh a lie. My father was in a drunk driving accident when that's not true. And we'll see what he does with that. If he comes back with information that my father is saying, what are you talking about? I was never in a drunk driving accident. Then we'll know he's talking to my father. But if he comes back with information that, oh, he's ashamed of that incident and so forth, then we'll know he's not reading my father, he's reading me.
Does he know the degree to which I was disappointed that he was in a drunk driving accident once? Because, he normally didn't drink, but there was this one situation, nobody got hurt or anything, but I never told him how disappointed I was to know that this had happened.
Yeah, let's see.
I mean, he didn't drink around me much.
He keeps still going on about how I wish you could understand things differently. So knowing things differently about him, and the dynamic with him and your mother, and the dynamic of him at work, and the dynamic of him having a family. So there's a whole thing which I don't know if you're even aware of he's going on about. So I think there might have been some stresses and some pressures there. And he keeps on going on about how he was very sorry it hurt you. And he knows he embarrassed you on several occasions.
My father never embarrassed me. Never. Even the time he honked for the car in front of us to move out into the intersection, otherwise we're never going to get in there. And the guy jumped out of the car and started yelling at my father. He did not embarrass me. I was proud of the way he handled that situation with grace. My father never embarrassed me.
Because normally he was...
He's ashamed of that. He's ashamed.
Okay. Yeah.
He's sorry. He's ashamed of that. And please don't think of him that way, he said.
James Van Praagh, you're full of shit.
Is there something very specific that would tell me, like, what my father's nickname was for my mother, or something that I would know for sure?
Only if they brought it through.
Oh. Because I'm not entirely convinced this whole thing works.
So, yeah. So you have to read more on it, on the mediumship, and see how it works. How they get through, and listen back to the tape, and see what has come through, different things, evidential information.
Okay, but I'd really like to have some sort of, I would like a proof of the afterlife. If I have like a list of 20 things that if any of these deceased people could say, that would prove it to me, because only I and them would know it. Like my father's, what my father did after he showered all the time, what my father's nickname was for my mother,
Right. Right. I can only give it if they give me it. I can't make it. I can't pull things out of thin air. I can't. You know. I can't do that. But the personalities. That's what you really want to concentrate. You can't concentrate on one little thing because it's much more than that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to establish afterlife.
Right.
And it
Right.
can only be established by a very specific thing that only I and that person would know. For example, like what my father used to do for hours in the countryside when he was young. If you just say what that is, then I would know, oh, that's him.
Right. But if I'm not giving it. If he's not giving it to me, I can't make it up.
Well, why wouldn't you want to give it to you? I mean, that would show it's him.
I know. I just can't make it up. He's not going to present it. It's not like, "Hi, how are you doing today?" It doesn't work like that. They're not on the same level that, "Hello, we are here. Hello, how are you today?" It doesn't work like that. So it's more of a feeling. It's more of an impression. If the spirit does not project an image a certain way,
Yeah.
and a certain way that the medium can pick up on it, it's very much like frequency. It's like a radio station.
But yeah, the intention of the deceased person is they're clamoring to get in touch with me. They should say right off the bat, "Oh, this is me. This is the nickname my father used to say."
Like them to say, but that's not we would like them to say that, but they didn't. I mean, they don't. But the sister came through. She died of cancer. The other one had cancer, or certain names came through, or certain situations.
Well, if she came through with the name of her best friend, that would do it.
If she did, I wish she would have. But I don't know how many names that they came through with. I don't know.
Well, you came through a lot of names, and none of them matched up.
Let's tally up Van Prague's hits and misses and see how he did. He had 12 hits, the best of which was that my sister had breast cancer. Others, like my father had a briefcase. Pretty lame. Misses. How many misses did he have? 64. 64. That is an 84% failure rate. 84% failure rate from a man considered by many to be the best in his field. And the most telling statistic, the number of things he told me that only the dead person and I could know, 0. 0, exactly as I expected. 0, exactly as I knew would happen. 0. As a person who cares about the truth, I find his whole charade very offensive. There's something profoundly immoral about promoting a belief system that is provably false. Taking a sacred subject, the memories of our deceased loved ones, and making a guessing game and a business out of it.
Well, that was terrific. I had not seen that since 2013. There's a lot on there I forgot. Yeah, that was great. And that's what people can do. So he's pushing back on him and he was trying to be respectful. He paid $700 for the reading. Oh my God, in 2013, $700. And he paid it, and he's, Von Prague's supposed to be offering a service, right? It should have some validity to it. And his dad had a briefcase isn't much of a hit. And his sister having breast cancer. Well, it was kind of like he kind of guessed on the cancer. So was it cancer? And then was it the breast? It was kind of like, well, there's only there's certain levels of what is the most likely of all the different cancers that a woman's going to get. Breast cancer is right up there at the top. So, and it was kind of like, boy, Von Praagh bombed. No wonder he stopped doing those kinds of readings. Yeah, I just looked on his website. Let's take a look at this here real quick again. Now, Von Prague's got to be, well, how old is he now? Well, age is just a number. I don't feel much more than 35 some days, but 63. Yeah, I always have to think about that a second. All right, let's see. James Von Praagh. So maybe he's like Chip Copy and he's just not doing his thing anymore, out there. Well, it's easier to do it online. He's 67. So James Van Praagh is a chicken. He's a young chicken like I am. 67 isn't very old. All right. So looking at his website, let's go look at this real quick. I hadn't looked at it. So here's James Van Praagh. He has live events. So his upcoming events, April 10th, he has a spirit room, VIP evening of mediumship, April 10th. So that's $700 online, $700 online, $700. And he wants, they charge these high prices because they know the skeptics aren't going to go pay $700 and they'll keep the riffraff out, right? The people are really desperate, I guess, whatever. And here you can take a mediumship class, Mediumship 101 for $100. Wow. So I don't know if this is limited to top 20 people or top 100 people. Oh, 7 guests. 7 guests. Wow. So $1,400. That's the closest you can come to a private reading with James, who no longer offers one-on-one sessions. I wonder why. So 4 o'clock, April 10th. What am I doing that day? April 10th. Sounds familiar. I think I might have something happening then, but I'm not sure. So he's got classes. Here's a school. Oh, I got a web of trust. Ooh, I love that. We used to do these web of trust. We'd put that on all the websites saying, don't go to this website. Message from the guides, transformation cards. Okay, are these his? Yeah, these are James Van Praagh. You can buy them off of Amazon. Let's see what it says. $16.80. Wisdom from your spirit guides, handbook to contact your soul's greatest teachers. The power of love, connecting to the oneness. The power of love activation cards. Oh my gosh. So lots of swag. So he's doing a lot of stuff on swag, things you could buy. You don't have to do a lot of online one-on-one readings and get busted by another skeptic. Interesting that, and his name is Mick. So I'm looking at his channel, his YouTube channel, and he's got a video up 3 months ago. So he must be active still, but it looks like he shifted his focus more to religious topics. And I'm not really all interested in the religious topics that much, but he's talking about faith, Christians, Jesus, Mormonism, that kind of stuff. So it looks like he's kind of changed his focus a little bit. More power to him, hey, that's great that you did this. So very interesting. So he's using the name Mick, which is, I can pronounce. Thank you, Mick. Anyway, I will not monetize my video, obviously, because this isn't my work. And I will link to his YouTube channel for him. And, I really appreciate it, showing how easy it is to do this kind of thing. Nobody pushes back like that. Van Praagh was probably shocked because people just don't do that. I mean, I've seen hundreds of videos, hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours of readings in person or to myself or watching videos, and people don't push back. And mostly it's all women. So I don't know if it's a conditional that women are just not conditioned to push back culturally. They self-select themselves. The people who would be willing to go have a reading and pay for this reading and wait until the reading comes, you have to anticipate it, and you're really anxious about getting your reading and talking to your dead loved one. Maybe those kinds of people are pre-selected to not confront the medium. It just seems to be what's going on in that little world where we don't see a pushback. I mean, when somebody says, like they say, I'm getting a man, he's here, he wants to make contact with you. Nobody says, well, what's his name? They just sit and wait. Or they say, oh, that must be my fill in the blank person that they really want to hear from. My son, my father, my husband, that kind of thing, my brother. Interesting. I'm not sure I get this time shift thing that Mick was talking about so much. I guess that makes sense. I haven't heard that phrase before. where Mark Edward would have said course corrected, I guess, where he starts to go and then he sees that you didn't answer the way you should have, and then you course corrected a little bit to the other side, to go on a different path. Like when he said your father owned a company, and he says no, and he goes, oh, well, I see him carrying a briefcase. He's got a briefcase. Anyway, really interesting, wasn't it? Okay, so check out his channel. I'm glad I revisited this because that was good to pay attention to. And yeah. Oh, he's got some videos. James Van Prague's got some videos up here. Browses. Oh, practitioners. Oh, let's just take a quick at this real quick. Real quick. Let's look at who he endorses. It's always very interesting. See if it's anybody in there. No. So here's animal communicator. Oh, look at the list is down to nothing. I swear it was a lot bigger whenever I remembered seeing it before. He's still got Tim Braun in here. This is where we found him. So if we go to the mediums, which are my favorites, Angel the medium, Tim Braun, Janelle, what is her name there? C.A. Campbell. It's hard to see it because it's in yellow. Lynn Probert, Kelly White, Susan Grau, Ann Mitz, Michaela Waitley, Michael Mayo, Johnny Thorgensen, Danielle Monroe, and Kirsty Harris Parker. So I've heard of Tim Braun because we selected him off of this list. These are all just like, whoever. Angel the medium. It's real reputable. Signing up for Angel the medium. Yeah. Okay. Astrologers, coaches, love counselors. Oh, there's only one listed. Oh, Dr. Diana Kirsch, Kirschner. Doctor. She's a psychoanalyst, psychologist. I'm telling you. Recurring guest on the Today Show, appeared on Oprah. She's an expert if Oprah had her on. Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz. Yeah. Started a PBS special and loved based on her smash bestseller, Love in 90 Days. Her newest book is Find Your Soulmate Online in 6 Simple Steps. She's helped thousands of singles and couples to find lasting love that's just right for them. Yeah. Okay. So just, we haven't forgotten you, James Van Praagh. Just letting you know, he was one of the big names back in the day with Sylvia Browne and all that. Don't hear much from him anymore. His TV show doesn't really get anything like that. I mean, I think once in a while some other psychic or somebody might have a visit from James Van Praagh, some celebrity or something on some show, but no, his days are kind of over. Poor guy. No, I don't really think so. He's I don't have any sympathy for him. Take care, everyone, and go out today, or donate to the ACLU. That's another great way of helping out.